It is not with Art Lewis. Art Lewis, who was with us for a little bit this morning. He was part of the fun we were having with the giveaway for the Munger Potato Festival, but then I wasn't feeling 100%. And we decided, you know what? That's okay. We understand. So let's get you home and get you rested, get you healing, and hopefully get you back into the swing of things for tomorrow. And so Art's not here. And so we'll do our best to do a little fill-in as we can here, Charlie Rood, at this time. On a WSGW, our time is 9:13. And if I understand Art correctly, Art said he had no guests scheduled, so he was going to open up phones and do a couple of hours of that. And we're happy to do it with you. You can actually do it because of the way that this is being done. We're kind of last minute and saying, hey, whatever's going on could be going on with you at 989-752-6111. It's 989-752-6111 for Art Lewis and his radio show today. Happen to catch this, and let me start with this and throw it out to see if you have any thought, but I missed this completely. It's something that we have actually talked about. It's been in the news, and I thought it had been in the news and had been talked about. But if I'm understanding right, in the last maybe 24 hours, something new popped up with some of the release of some of the documents regarding the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. And this has to do with apparently new documents. You know, some of this information that's been released with President Trump allowing some more of the documentation to be released. That's showing that the CIA actually, which had claimed it had little or no knowledge of Lee Harvey Oswald's activities before the assassination of President Kennedy, according to the documents, are now saying that's not true. And the documents apparently are confirming that a CIA agent based in Miami was helping to finance and oversee a group of Cuban students opposed to the ascension of Fidel Castro, and that the CIA agent had a covert assignment to manage anti-Castro propaganda and disrupt pro-Castro groups, even as the CIA was prohibited from domestic spying. The group was aware of Oswald as he publicly promoted a pro-Castro policy for the U.S., and its members physically clashed with him 3 months before the assassination. And Oswald even approached them and he was offered help, possibly to work as a mole within his pro-Castro group. The CIA, again, long denying any involvement with the Cuban group or any awareness of Oswald's pro-Cuba advocacy. But this is all coming out now with the House Oversight Committee. I thought all of the documents and all of the research into this had been talked about, and this goes back several months ago, and I thought said that there was no new information that was coming out. This, by the way, is from a Washington Post article by Tom Jackman. And there's several other sources, too, that are also talking about this. And, here we are in 2025, and still the JFK assassination is one that fascinates, is one that many say the ultimate truth will never be known, though there are those who say the truth already is known, taking the Warren Commission investigation into the official word on exactly how it took place. But like I said, I saw this and I thought, what am I missing here? Is this an old news item? Wasn't this something that was talked about and, I don't want to say officially put to bed, but at least from the early offerings of some of the new documents that released, there was nothing going on. No great earth-shattering information that was coming forth from any of the new documents that were released. But as far as I can tell, this was just in the last 24 hours. So was there something new that was released that apparently was getting attention? Or was just part of some of the documents that had already been released, and somebody found something that has something interesting. I don't know. Are you paying attention to it yourself? If you'd like to make a comment, if you have insight, certainly feel free. 989-752-6111. You can make your official pronouncement and acknowledgement from the 1963 assassination of President John F. Kennedy here in 2025, as it still, for some, is a mystery. And for others, it is something that continues to be one of those perhaps never solved pieces of history. You were going to say, John?
I'm going to hop in here.
Please do.
I love conspiracy theories. I love the tinfoil hat stuff. I'm into this. It doesn't look like there's anything new necessarily that came out, but people just kind of digging through it. There were a ton of documents that got released. And I know we have a caller, so I'll try and be quick here.
That's okay.
There were a ton of documents that got released, and there's a conspiracy theorist YouTuber that I watch often just because it's fun. It's fun stuff. But he did like a deep dive into all of it and sifted through it so people don't have to, kind of thing. And kind of the conclusion I came to is all the interesting stuff is redacted or it's never going to come out. But there were some documents in there where they admitted, like, well, this agent went to Cuba to meet with this person, and the record of that meeting just doesn't exist. We lost it. And this other thing happened, and so I wonder how many things just got lost. We don't happen to have the record of that.
Conveniently.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I don't know. That's maybe that phrase is something that we will continue to say, because up to this point, aside from the official Warren Commission, here's exactly what happened, and this is the way the government is going to conclude its investigation. Aside from that being quote-unquote official, will there be anything? I mean, this has gone through a House Oversight Committee.
Yeah, but skeptics aren't going to be satisfied with anything that comes out.
Skeptics will always be skeptics. I get that. And because it involves the government, and you trust the government up to a certain point, I suppose, there are certainly, unfortunately, things that have happened with our government throughout history that would make you untrusting. I get that. I'm just fascinated again here in 2025. And like I said, the last 24 hours from what I'm seeing online, this little new tidbit of potential controversy where the CIA, which had claimed little or no knowledge, now suddenly apparently had deep knowledge. I don't know if it's a deep relationship, but at least had a relationship with the principal assassin of President Kennedy. I'll leave it at that for now. We do have a caller waiting, but I do have to take a break. So I'm going to ask our caller to hang on so we can catch up and make sure that we're on plane here. And we'll continue with more. Art Lewis again is off today. Open lines is what we're doing, and we have other things that we can bring to the table too, but this is just one of those that jumped out at me. If it jumped out at you, let me know. 989-752-6111, and we'll be back with more in just a moment.
Is your vehicle your pride and joy?
Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Big bank earnings are generally upbeat. JP Morgan Chase reported earnings and revenue that topped expectations. CEO Jamie Dimon says the U.S. economy remained resilient in the quarter. He says the finalization of tax reform and potential deregulation are positive for the economic outlook. Though significant risks persist, including from tariffs, trade uncertainty, and worsening geopolitical conditions, along with high fiscal deficits and high stock prices. Wells Fargo shares are lower, though its earnings and revenue topped expectations. Wall Street was expecting it to bring in more interest income. Shares of AI chipmaker NVIDIA are up 5%. The company says it will be allowed to resume sales to China. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Coselda, invested in you.
It's an interesting time for business. Tariff and trade policies are dynamic, supply chains are squeezed, and cash flow tighter than ever. If your business can't adapt in real time, you're in a world of hurt. You need total visibility, from global shipments to tariff impacts to real-time cash flow. That's NetSuite by Oracle, your AI-powered business management suite, trusted by over 42,000 businesses. NetSuite is the #1 cloud ERP for many reasons. It brings accounting, financial management, inventory, HR into one suite. You have one source of truth giving you the visibility and control you need to make quick decisions. With real-time forecasting, you're peering into the future with actionable data. And with AI embedded throughout, you can automate a lot of those everyday tasks, letting your team stay strategic. NetSuite helps you know what's stuck, what it's costing you, and how to pivot fast. If your revenues are at least in the 7 figures, download the free ebook Navigating Global Trade, 3 Insights for Leaders at netsuite.com/quick. That's netsuite.com/quick.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice.
Art this morning, Charlie Rood here. Jonathan Dent jumping in too, as we are doing our best to get through. Art was going to be with us this morning. He was actually with us a little earlier. We were having fun with the Munger Potato Festival coming up next weekend, doing a free giveaway of some potatoes and some Better Made chips in Essexville. And Art was with us for a little while, and then just not feeling 100%. So hey, we understand that happens. So we've sent Art on his way. He was more prepared to do his open shows than we are here, but we'll do it with you. And invite your phone calls, 989-752-6111, whether it's on what I had tossed out, this latest update of continuing the investigation controversies of the assassination of President Kennedy, because apparently there's evidence that shows that the CIA was connected to Lee Harvey Oswald, even though over the years the CIA said no. And just in the last 24 hours, some of this stuff's coming out. This particular latest line of stuff. And I was looking at this article from the Washington Post and Tom Jackman. Anyway, we got Michael from Bay City who's been holding on. Michael, we appreciate your patience, and we say good morning to you. Welcome to the Art Lewis Show. There's Charlie and Jonathan this morning. Hello there, Michael.
Morning, Charlie.
What's going on?
I was 7 years old when JFK got hit. And I might have been 7, but back then they had, Combat was on, that Army show that used to be on TV.
Yep.
A truck driving show called Moving On, when it had that monkey in there with him. I don't remember the guy's name, the actor. But I was pretty upset. They interrupted my shows with all that newscast. I was very upset.
Well,
I might have been 7, but I tell you, I laugh every time I think about it,
For a 7-year-old at that time, I mean, did you have any even, ability to just comprehend what was going on at that time, Michael?
Yeah, I did.
I've heard stories.
I still don't understand that, though. Yeah, I know. I've read books and everything else, and, I don't know. I'm lost.
I've heard stories.
Lost too.
Yeah, I've heard stories from news people who worked in TV at that time, who said that the local stations were getting phone calls like crazy from people saying that their midday soap operas had been interrupted.
Yeah.
And they wanted those back on.
Oh no!
Art Lewis talks about. Art Lewis was one of those who was working out in New Mexico at the time, and he was responsible for running programming on the station. He said, they were getting inundated with people who were upset that the programming was. Did they not comprehend what was going on until Walter Cronkite said, John F. Kennedy's dead?
Yeah. I've looked at that. Different angles that they had on TV for different specials and stuff. I don't know.
Are you paying attention then to any of the latest documents that have been released? Any of this information that's coming out? Do you think there's anything more that we'll even know, Michael, or what?
No, I don't think so. I think it's dead end. I really do.
All right.
They do. It ain't going to be during my lifetime if it keeps on. I'm 69 now, so
I hear you there,
Yeah.
Michael. Thanks for your phone
I've
call.
been listening to you every day, though, buddy.
Well, we appreciate that.
Charlie, oh yeah, I got to be 5:29. Turn the radio on.
Whoa, you're with us really early in the morning.
Right out the start.
I got sleep apnea. I sleep all different kind of crazy hours.
Oh my.
I woke up the first time about 1 o'clock.
Well, we will keep you company, Michael, and hope that you find a way to get the sleep that you need.
That reminds me about this potato fest.
Yeah.
What about people like me that don't? All I got in transportation is a bicycle.
Oh.
I've laid. It's been a little over a month now. I laid my bike down 4 different times.
Oh my. Well,
pedal bike, and I'm hurt. I'm hurt pretty bad.
Well, if you maybe you have a friend or someone that you can turn to and say, "Hey, help me out."
Yeah, so I'm getting ready to do a call this morning.
All right, we wish you well, Michael. Thanks for calling in this morning. All right, you take care.
Nice talking to you, Charlie. Yep,
we appreciate, especially for the perspective from 1963 of a 7-year-old, and related to the JFK that we're talking about this morning. Let me see here. I got to do something real quick here. Carl, hang on. All right. I think I've done it right now. Carl, I think I've got you out a second. Good morning to you, Carl.
Good morning, Charlie. I was just talking to Art yesterday about the JFK files being released, and the point that I made yesterday that struck me is that even after all this time, there's still information that is classified, that they have not released.
True.
And
as much as they have released over the years, as much as they have released, there's still a lot that hasn't been. I don't know if it ever will be.
How can, after this many years, how can there possibly be like a national security implication of, some of this? It seems to me it's much more likely that it's people trying to CYA, something that they did back, years ago. Well, actually, most of those people are probably dead by now. The people that were in charge back then.
I think that's part of the question is who would be harmed? Would it be specific people, Carl, or would it just be something that could potentially, and I don't know, I'll just throw it out, give the U.S. government a black eye in something that, if it took place back in 1963, the secrecy would have started then and has been continuing all the way up here until 2025. And there have to be people that have looked at documents and know and said, uh-oh, this hasn't come out yet. Can't be released on my watch, so we'll kick this can down the road. I don't know.
Yeah, but the problem is that when they don't release it, that creates a vacuum, and then the conspiracy theories come in to fill that vacuum. And so, you can't just ignore something like this. And I think it's the same with the Jeffrey Epstein files. I don't think it's going to be enough to say, there's nothing to see here. We're going to close the file. That's it. Go talk about something else. I don't think that's going to fly.
No, well, it's not flying right now with a lot of people, and that's just in its infancy. Here we're talking something 60 years. So yeah, well, it's always said, of anything that it's not the original event. It's
the cover up.
Exactly, the cover up, and. Like I said, so when you called yesterday, was it just a general reference? And I'm sorry, I didn't hear Art's show yesterday when you called about this.
Well,
was it a general reference to just the documents, or was it about this latest CIA parent relationship?
No, it was just that we were talking about Epstein and something not being released.
Oh, okay.
And I mentioned that I thought about 3 weeks ago they released some information about JFK, but it was basically nothing new was released. And I made the point, well, how can they still claim that this information has to be classified after this many years? That just doesn't pass the laugh test to me.
Well, and to this latest information I'm talking about, the chairwoman, Anna Paulina Luna from Florida, who led the task force oversight, here's her statement to what this CIA relationship. This confirms much of what the public already speculated, that the CIA was lying to the American people and that there was a cover-up. I mean, that's the leader of the House task force saying that. If we're going to trust government officials, it's like, you've got leadership using the word lying, you got leadership using the word cover-up. So what are the rest of us supposed to think, Carl? Yeah, that there is something going on.
Yeah. So, I mean, what was more likely back then, that people were trying to cover their actions? You know, it wasn't really about national security. It was about people being embarrassed. You know, what's more likely when you think about it? You know.
Yeah.
So.
We appreciate the thought process, though, Carl. I mean, and it continues for how many more years? If it's been up to this point here from 63 to 2025, I'm guessing it's still going to have legs. All right. Thanks for calling.
I suppose.
Yeah. Thanks for calling, Carol. Appreciate it. Let's talk to Paul in Saginaw before we take our next break. Paul, good morning to you. Welcome to the Art Lewis Show. Good morning.
Yeah, morning, Charlie. I'm going to change subjects a little bit. I know that city leaders all across the country want to interest new visitors to relocate to their area, their cities and their neighborhoods. But this is one of my pet peeves. When a visitor drives through a neighborhood of a city and they continually hear boom boom car base or boom boom home base, do you think any of those visitors want to move into that neighborhood? What do you think?
Well, my guess is that people of our generation probably would be using that as a reason to say, not coming here.
Right.
Where people who drive around doing that are going to say, hey, I'm welcome here. Give me a house for sale.
This is a place with no noise complaints.
Yes, exactly right, Jonathan.
Right. But when you can hear that boom boom home base or car base blocks away from where it is occurring, that means a whole slew of neighbors in that circumference, in that radius around that noise is hearing it. And they're going to want to move out, and nobody's going to want to move in. And the city leaders have to, make it clear, because the police will enforce, a noise complaint if the city leaders encourage the police to do that. But if they tell them to back off, and it keeps on occurring over and over and over again, you're not going to get new people moving into your city or to your neighborhood.
I will agree that it's annoying, and I think it's something that's unnecessary and does cause problems. Although I got to tell you, and I'm sure it still occurs, I don't hear it as much as I used to hear it. As far as travels go, maybe I'm not traveling in those right circles, and I thought that there has been some crackdowns on it. I can't confirm or deny. Like I said, I remember used to hearing all the time, but I'm trying to think the last time I really had a car pull up where I'm like, where my windows are rattling and the car is, 3 rows over.
Well, I'm more. I will say that the car boom boom bass has declined a little bit, but when you get a home boom boom bass at a house,
in a house, I get it now.
There should be a noise ordinance.
There are noise ordinances. I said most. I think communities have ordinances at a certain time after like 10 o'clock or something like that at night that you're supposed to not be disturbing.
Some people work different shifts. They have to sleep during the day, or they want to take a nap during the day. And when you hear that boom boom bass from some house, and you hear it a couple blocks away, you can't sleep.
No?
And they need stricter penalties for that. You know, like if you violate the noise ordinance, say 2-3 times, they should be able to arrest you, put you in jail for 10 days and a fine. Maybe that would wake you up. Something's got to wake them up because nothing seems to be getting done. What do you think?
You need to be in a neighborhood, Paul, where there's a good, strong homeowners association. That'll take care of it. I got to take a break, Paul. I appreciate it. We'll come back with other calls coming up in just a moment.
It could be the best years.
Next place, we know that there will be.
There's only one TV station that has local news on weekends now, and that's TV5.
Oh, really?
From 7 until 9 o'clock in the morning. So I was thinking maybe, if we did this 1 hour, that's all it needs. You don't need to do a whole morning show. 1 hour is enough. You do your CBS report, you do your local reports, you do your sports. I miss having the basketball scores in the morning on weekends, or baseball, whatever.
Yeah, the advent of some of the different changes that we have gone through and some of the different programming that has happened, I know has removed some of what used to be available and is unfortunately not now. But, Owen, I will take that under consideration. I've got to pause it there just because we want to move on to a couple more callers. But that is an interesting thought, and we thank you for being a loyal listener and giving us some kind words and some things to think about. Following up, Owen, let's go to Al, who's shouting in from Bay City. Hey, Al, good morning to you.
Really, I'd be interested to hear your predictions on who's going to win tonight, the American or National League.
Well, of course the American League is going to win because there's 4 Tigers starting. And potentially a couple more Tigers in the game, too. Well, it would be fun. American League has dominated in the past number of years. As much as the National League used to dominate years ago, the American League has had the National League's number the past number of years. So,
isn't it interesting the Tigers got more players on them on the All-Star game than they ever have?
Yeah, six ties a record, actually. I had to look back the last time that we had 4 actually starting, with Skubal as the starting pitcher. That puts a whole new dynamic into the whole thing, but it should be fun. Regardless, it's nice to see that the Tigers are getting that kind of attention, and if people are watching the game tonight, what kind of comments might be made on our Tiger team, too. I'm sure they'll have to make some kind of mention that the Tigers are represented so well because the Tigers are playing so well.
Yes, well.
All right, Al.
Anyway.
So there you go.
It's been interesting to see what happens.
We're rooting on the Tigers in the AL tonight. Al, thanks for your call. Michael in West Branch, let's get you going here, too, before we have to take our next break. What's going on, Michael? Thanks for holding on.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
We're doing well, thank you.
Great. What I find extremely confusing, and other adjectives would probably be better, but is that, do you guys know who the primary physician was in the emergency department that day when JFK came in? His name is Robert McClelland. Have you seen any interviews from him?
I do not recall.
I have, but it's been a while.
Oh, you have?
Okay,
I have not.
He died in 2019, but he said, you can go on YouTube and go down the rabbit hole, but I mean, I don't think that this guy has any, he's not going to be making up stories, but he said he was 18 inches from JFK's head at the head of the bed. And he said that there was a hole in the back of his skull, right side, say about the size of a baseball. And there were no cameras allowed in the emergency department. That he drew a picture of what his skull looked like. He said that a shot had to have come from the front along the hairline. So it's like, here's the primary doctor in the emergency department saying this, and again, you can watch his interviews on YouTube. I've read some articles from him as well, and that totally contradicts what they're saying that Oswald was the primary shooter or the assassin.
I have heard those, and I don't know if it ever came because of the physician's comments that you're talking about, Michael, but I have heard that medically has been suggested that, a shot had to have come from